My memory is filled with movie scenes. Whether that be the wolf confrontation in Fantastic Mr. Fox, the dream sequence from La La Land, or the final battle in Kung Fu Panda 2, these visuals have stuck with me from the moment I first saw them. Although these three films are different in tone, style, and substance, the thread connecting them is that they hold the story's message. In Kung Fu Panda 2, that message is to accept who you are and strive for balance and inner peace. At the beginning of the film, the audience is introduced to Shen, the darkness and the light. While his elders invented fireworks to bring color and joy, Shen uses their invention to bring darkness and destruction. His parents are warned that if he does not cease his cruel ways, he will be stopped by a warrior of black and white. In an attempt to avoid the consequences of his actions, Shen bathes the city in the color of his anger, red. We are then introduced to Po, the light and the darkness. His mother was murdered by Shen, and throughout the movie, he has visions of her. Po can only see her for a few seconds, and only in 2 dimensions, so he seeks the truth of his nightmare. Along the way, he meets his master, Shifu, who teaches Po inner peace. The area around them is lush and green to represent such peace, and Shifu uses water to convey this message as it symbolizes a purification of the soul. From the events of the first film, Shifu has accepted to guide the path of fate rather than to force it against its natural order. As
one often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
This idea is opposite of Shen's, and these ideologies soon clash when Po meets Shen. The filmmakers choose to convey the differences between Po and Shen visually as well as contextually. Po's eyes are green, the color of peace, while Shen's eyes are red, the color of war. While this may seem like a minor design choice, it is through the eyes which we see, and therefore through the eyes which we perceive events, make judgments, and enact morals. The eyes are the gateway to the soul, after all. Po's body is black and white, dark and light, yin and yang. The white symbolizes the purity of his birth into a wholesome family that loved him, while the black symbolizes the darkness that Shen cast upon him from a young age. Po's heart, however, is pure and white, as he is selfless and helps others. Shen's body is white, light, yang, as he was born into a family that loved him. The darkness, however, is inside Shen, as he destroys the good around him. When these two opposing forces meet, Po is blindsided by a symbol on Shen's clothing, so he relapses into another memory of his mother. Because of this, Po loses Shen, and the rest of the Furious Five ask him to stay home from the next battle. Po, however, in his only act of selfishness in this story, gives in to the darkness and goes anyway. Unfortunately, he nearly gets killed, and he gets his friends captured. Po is rescued by the soothsayer who warned Shen's parents at the beginning of the film. When the injured Po finds a familiar panda doll, he experiences more visions of his past and asks for them to go away. The soothsayer tells him to stop fighting and to let the memories flow. Po steps outside into the green grass and begins bending raindrops as Shifu taught him. We see how the bright, green village of his childhood is transformed into a dark, red wasteland by Shen. His mother attempted to save him, first by running away, but then by hiding. As Po comes to terms with and accepts his past, his vision becomes 3-dimensional. It is no longer a nightmare, but a memory. Po drops the bead of water and begins to cry, so the soothsayer tells him that the beginning of one's story does not matter, but rather the rest of their story. What one chooses to be is what matters. Through a fantastic use of visual storytelling, Po recaps the events of his life and accepts who he is. When Po returns to fight Shen, the city is completely covered in red light, which consumes most characters, but not Po. Po has accepted who he is and found inner peace. He is not consumed by anger like Shen, so his black and white colors stay pure throughout the fight. Po is knocked down once more by Shen's army, so he learns his final lesson, that you cannot fight violence with violence, but rather with peace. He stands atop a sinking ship and faces the darkness. Shen shoots fireworks at him, but Po guides them away as he did with the raindrops earlier. The projectiles are a hateful, flaming red color as they fly towards him, but a cheerful and peaceful yellow color as Po deflects them. He turns the weapons of war back into the devices that bring joy. Throughout this battle, Po tries to teach Shen to accept himself and strive for peace, but Shen does not listen. Because of this, Shen accidentally destroys his ship while trying to attack Po, fulfilling his destiny whilst trying to avoid it. In order to put a stop to Shen's carnage, Po attempts to deflect a firework towards the main cannon. Once Po grabs the firework, he spins himself to create momentum. As my child eyes saw this scene, it was forever ingrained into my memory. The water rises with him as he is transported into the air. He looks the red hate directly in his green, peaceful eyes and does not flinch. As he rotates quicker and quicker, he becomes the symbol for yin and yang. He has acquired inner peace, he has obtained balance, and he has accepted who he is. As the firework leaves his paw, he utters one final word.
Skadoosh.